There's no way.
I will film me doing a burnout right in front of where it says Naperville Police Station. The car catches fire. I had all these sex dolls, and I ran them over with the Mustang.
Did you ever figure out?
Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Let me answer the cease and desist letter for you. I take a torch and I light the letter on fire right in my driveway.
You were basically committing crimes and uploading it to YouTube.
Well, yes. We should leave that in there.
My name is Tom. I've always wanted to start a podcast. Today I'm joined by Powell, who in 1 month grew a YouTube channel from 0 to 25,000 subscribers, who had millions of views on his channel until coming soon. I don't know. What do I say there? Powell, everybody.
What's going on?
Hey, Paul. Thanks so much for being here. I'm really, really excited to do this with you. I think you have an incredible story, and I think it can help a lot of people, whatever they may be going through. I think it's kind of a story of hope and kind of a story of redemption. So I know this whole thing kind of centers around a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to know what made you want to start one.
Yeah, so just a little bit of backstory. My YouTube channel is called Family Cruisin'. I started it in 2017. I bought a Challenger Hellcat in Plum Crazy Purple. And I was doing kind of fun things with the kids and doing, car show things and whatever. And I saw the popularity of YouTube. I watched it, and there's this YouTuber named Street Speed 717 out of Pennsylvania, and I'm like, you know what? I can do that. Like, I'm funnier. I'm not better looking, but I'm funnier, and I have a cooler car. So I should be able to do this, right? And then over the winter, the car was parked, and Trisha and I, my wife, were kind of talking, and she's like, what about Hellcat Uber? That sounds pretty cool. And I'm like, that is pretty cool, right? So I started a YouTube channel, and I'm like, come March, I learned a lot about YouTube. Learned about how to create it, what cameras to get. So I bought a used GoPro, and learned what camera angles and how to shoot the cars and things like that. And so I started doing YouTube Uber videos with my Hellcat, which was simple. I'm going to be the crazy Uber driver. I pull up to somebody's house, and they're like, hey, they're expecting a Toyota Prius, except it's a Hellcat. And so the reactions were different. And there are people who've never ridden in high horsepower cars, especially people who, wouldn't do burnouts and things like that. So I just did crazy things. And so within that first month, like, videos just blew up. Like, the second video I posted was with my old neighbor that got something like 500,000 views over a weekend.
That's crazy. On your second video?
Yeah.
You're living so many people's dreams with that.
It was the thing that I learned about YouTube is you have to be funny. You have to have a unique angle. And the car was like, everybody wanted to see cars, and nobody was like doing crazy things. Everybody was doing burnouts and things like that, but nobody was sharing it with the people. So I did. And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. But with that came a lot of things that we didn't expect, right?
Okay.
Some of the challenges. So let me go back a little bit. That first video that I shot was with my best friend from high school, Ray. He was pretending to be a drug dealer. I have a clip of the video that we can in here, where I pull up to his house, and he looked like a drug dealer. He, whatever, and he talked like a drug dealer, and it was funny, right? And then the second one was my neighbor. He was a bodybuilder, and I had the cameras in the car, and he didn't know what to expect. I'm like, hey, you want to shoot a YouTube video? Sure, whatever. So I pretend to pull up to his house, and he's like, what are all these cameras for? And I'm like, oh, they're for my protection. I almost got raped once. I don't blame you. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, dude, people think I'm sexy.
You would not believe.
Right. And he he was laughing, and it was just a great time. And we would do burnouts and things like that. And that was the video that got all the views.
Yeah.
But the thing was, when you do that kind of thing, you're like, all right, I got 500,000 views on this first video. It like blew up, and I kept on doing more and more videos, and they kept on getting more and more successful. But you got to keep on doing crazier and crazier things, like, and then people become popular and things like that. But with YouTube, it's not just about making the videos. Like, you see a 15-minute video, it's 4 hours to create it. That was the thing. Like, so I was posting 3 to 4 videos a week and coming up with the ideas, finding people to do the videos, doing all of the things that prepare it. So now you're talking 4 videos a week. You're talking 20 to 30 hours a week worth of work.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a full-time job. Like, when you want to commit to it, I feel like I'm sort of learning that now.
Right. So for people who look at this and go, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to get into media, I want to do this stuff. Okay, fine. You see a 20-minute video or you see a 10-minute video. There's 4 hours behind that video.
Right.
And then you don't know if it's going to be successful or not.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's going to hit, and you never know which video is going to hit. You have no idea. And so it's always like you're riding a roller coaster. You think, man, I spent 15 hours on this video. 4 camera angles, all this stuff you've prepared. Right. And then nobody watches it. Or you get 3,000 or 4,000 views and you're like, man, that, and then you go out and you take all in 45 minutes to shoot a quick video because you need to get one out, and darn thing gets 400,000 views. You're like, and then you want to do more of that, and then the next time you do that exact same style video, it doesn't do anything, right? Like, one of the videos I used to do is media, news reports on cars. So, and it all started because Dodge announced a new version of the Hellcat, and I did a whole video on it, and they called it the Red Eye, and I made my eyes red. And
in post?
Yeah, no, I did it I irritated my eyes, and I just shot it in my office at the house. So it took me 30 minutes all in to do this video, and it got a tremendous amount of views because I kept on making fun of the name Red Eye. I did synonyms of it and things like that. And so I'm like, I'm going to do more of these because this paid the bills, right?
Yeah,
I didn't have to do anything.
Right.
And it just became, but yet the next time that it didn't do very much, right? So it's always trying to figure out what hits and what doesn't.
Yeah.
It was always very difficult.
It's always kind of a game you have to play with it. So you started with the Hellcat. That was the first car you got. And over the course of it, correct me if I'm wrong, you got new cars and kind of went through.
Other thing, right? So so the first year I had the Hellcat. The first 4 months I did a whole bunch of Hellcat Ubers. I did one where a bunch of college kids. I did a burnout right through the middle of downtown Naperville. Yeah. And that did great. That got a ton of views. Yeah. But then it started. The Hellcat Ubers became, to me, boring. Sure. Because I did 40 of them, and it became a challenge because the one thing I didn't do was become an Uber driver. I always talked to people I knew.
Okay, so it was set up. You didn't register through Uber.
No.
Okay.
Because there's so much liability there, right? So sure. It was people who knew what was happening. They knew they were going to be in a YouTube video. Gotcha. It was, so then it was, all right, after 40 of them, you're like, how do I keep on doing this? And I just kept on getting bored. And you could see it in the video, okay, there's only so many times I can do burnouts and I can, accelerate hard. And so I started doing other things. I started doing car reviews. I started doing other fun things, testing with kids or with other cars and other collaborations. And then I modified the Hellcat and things like that. Yeah. And that was great. But then after the winter came, there was like not much. I bought a full Focus ST that I called the Turbo Twinkie because it was bright yellow, and that was kind of fun. But nobody watched the videos with that car, mainly because whatever. But then the spring came, and I bought a whole bunch of other cars: a Ram truck, a Mustang, and then that kind of thing. My whole YouTube channel lasted 18 months.
Really, start to finish, 18
Start
months.
to finish. And in that 18 months, I had a little over 12 million views.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I mean, for anyone curious, I don't know if you would say the number, but like, when you were doing good, like on average with someone that was getting like a million views a month, what does that translate to, like money wise?
So in the automotive space,
yeah,
back then, it's changed a little bit. YouTube revenue has gone down. Advertising revenue has gone
down. There was the whole adpocalypse thing, and
right. Back then, it was between $7,000 and $8,000 per 1 million views.
Okay.
I didn't do external sponsors, which was one of my regrets. I didn't do partnerships. Okay. I did give me free parts. I put them on the car. I advertised the video.
Okay. Like for local shops, like O'Reilly's
Corsa exhaust gave me a free exhaust.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Right?
Sure.
But I didn't do like where, hey, play this video game and
right. Yeah. Raid Shadow Legends.
Right.
And
because I didn't play those games. So I thought it was inauthentic. I know a lot of YouTubers that do, and they get paid a lot of money to
catch
do that.
a bag from that. Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it. Like I just couldn't bring myself to do that. Now, if there was like car reviews or dealerships or whatever, but there's not money in that kind of sponsorship. So.
Did you have like I know it's pretty common now to have like YouTube managers. Did you have anyone like manage the channel? No, it was all from you.
I did it. I edited the videos. I filmed the videos. I posted the videos. I did the algorithm checks and things like that. But no, I did not have somebody else.
You were
I probably should have. But I was putting the money that I was making from YouTube went right back into cars.
Sure, yeah. I mean, yeah, when you start making money, you have to reinvest it into the content if it's content that needs to be reinvested to.
Right.
But I mean, with all your videos, you were saying you kind of had to get crazier and crazier, and you were doing burnouts and stuff in downtown Naperville. That's
the craziest story.
Yeah.
Was I was doing a live stream. Live streams were great ways to make money.
Okay.
Because you had your cell phone, you could do live stream, you could interact with people. People would donate cash to you if whatever, if they wanted to for comments or whatever.
Were you live on YouTube or Twitch?
YouTube.
YouTube, okay. You were live streaming from YouTube, okay.
And so I didn't have any other platform other than YouTube.
Okay.
I had Instagram where I'd post some behind the scene photos, but that was about it. But I would do these live streams on YouTube. And one guy, I'm driving through Naperville in the Focus, and he goes, someone says, I'll give you $100 if you do a burnout in the police station in Naperville. And I'm like, well, that's fun.
What could go wrong?
I'm like, absolutely. I will film me doing a burnout right in front of where it says Naperville Police Station. And I go there, and I had T-Mobile at the time. I literally just switched from Verizon to T-Mobile. During the middle of the live stream, as I pulled into the police station, the live stream died.
Okay.
And I couldn't get it back on. It said I had full bars, and I was like ready to go. And the YouTube stream died because I couldn't get 4G right there in downtown Naperville at the police station. So I ended up switching from T-Mobile to AT&T that day. And looking back on it, probably T-Mobile saved me a lot. Although something tells me that doing a burnout in their parking lot would have been YouTube gold.
It would have been. It would have been. God was up there like, cut the stream, cut the stream.
There's been a lot of that. Like, one of my YouTube ideas I had, so my Hellcat was heavily modified. I had no catalytic converters. I had It had 1,000 horsepower. It was crazy. Like I even put leaded race fuel in it when I took it to the drag strip, so it smelled awesome. Like leaded race fuel smells.
Yeah.
It literally does, and it's an unmistakable smell. And I thought, great idea, because I think that in Illinois, our EPA is kind of a joke. You get your car emissions tested, it doesn't matter. They just plug it into the computer. As long as the monitors are saying ready, you can pass.
Right.
So I'm like, I want to highlight how big of a joke Illinois is. So
Okay.
I'm going to take my obviously illegal and heavily modified car and pass emissions and say, look at this. And rightfully so, everybody that I told this idea to told me that I was absolutely insane. Why don't you go highlight how illegal your car is and see what happens? And I'm like, well, so I didn't end up doing that. I heeded the warning. But
Some wisdom there.
yeah, well, and then one of the things that it was funny, but I probably shouldn't have done, but whatever. I bought a Mustang. Do you know anything about Mustangs or about the car culture with Mustangs?
No, not really. No, tell me.
Okay. Mustangs crash into crowds. Back in the day, even to this day, you can just Google, anybody wants to go Google it now, Mustangs in crowds. You'll see them take out people all day long at car shows. Mainly because the people who buy Mustangs don't know how to drive.
Okay.
And because they're inexpensive rear-wheel drive, high horsepower cars. So you're getting 17, 18, 19-year-old kids that have never controlled a car like that. Rear-wheel drive, do burnouts, and they hit people.
Okay.
So I ended up buying a Mustang, and it's a meme everywhere. And I decided to take blow-up sex dolls, like 8 of them. I strategically wrapped the private parts.
Sure. Yeah. You clothed them
with duct tape.
Yeah.
And then I put them in a church lawn, a parking lot of a church. And
no, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
And this was in the evening on a whatever. So I put like 8 or 12 of them. And I'm like, and as part of the opening video announcing that I bought this Mustang, I had all these sex dolls. And I ran them over with the Mustang.
Because Mustangs go through crowds.
Exactly. In a church lawn.
You're sick.
I mean, again, there are some things that are funny that probably, go beyond what should have happened.
Yeah, but you had to keep upping the ante on the videos.
You had to keep on upping the ante.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that became the downfall of the channel, right? Not so much, but because you kept on upping the ante, you had to do crazier and crazier things. More cars, more videos, kind of things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
crazier stunts.
Yeah. And I tended to lean into the funny rather than the crazier cars.
Or like dangerous. Or,
yeah, I didn't do too many things. There was a series of videos that I did that was either 0 to 60 testing or 50 to 150 mile an hour testing.
Okay.
So people wants to know, if you buy a performance car, how fast is it?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I would do is I would take my car and I would do 0 to 60 testing. There's a street by my house that was essentially closed.
Mm-hmm.
It hadn't been resurfaced in so many years. Half of it was usable. The other half was not usable by anything other than a lifted truck. And it was great to do 0 to 60. Nobody ever used the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I could set up filming. I didn't have to worry about traffic. It was 3 minutes from my house. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of 0 to 60 testing. And then I started bringing in friends that, let's say I had a Ram, I had an F-150, or my friend Joe had an F-150, we called him the Bearded Wonder, and we would do 0 to 60 testing. Well, then we would also do, early on a Saturday or Sunday morning, we would do a video to see how fast, 50 to 150 mile an hour videos. So I would take my car out to 355 or really 355 where you could see everything. It was very wide open, whatever. And I would have my GoPro on the odometer or on the speedometer, and I would just test it 0 to 63 times. It would be a great reference to understand how fast a car is comparatively.
And this would be in like the dead of night on like a Saturday on
I
355.
normally did it at 5 in the morning on a Sunday morning.
Okay.
Because 5 or 6, right after sunlight.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be able to see. And then I also wanted no traffic. So as the sun was coming up, I was driving southeast. So you could kind of see right into the sun. You're not going to hit anybody.
Right.
It was, but you could do the testing safely. And
yeah, safely. Yeah.
Well, I mean, anytime you do 150 miles an hour, it's not exactly the safest thing in the world.
Sure.
But I never did it with kids in the car, never did it, with anybody else around.
Sure.
There was a few times where a couple of my buddies and I would get up early and we would race each other. But again, that was very early in the morning, right before or right after sunrise or right before sunrise. And then we'd be able to do that.
So basically, you would upload all that footage to YouTube.
Yep.
So you were basically committing crimes and uploading it to YouTube.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But you can go on to YouTube today and watch any car YouTuber, and they're doing the same thing.
Sure.
Every single one of them. I wasn't unique in this fashion.
Sure.
I was, quite honestly, I wasn't the most crazy one. There's people that are, doing 200 miles an hour, doing all kinds of crazy things in cars.
Yeah.
And
I mean, makes great content.
It does.
Makes a crazy headline too if
you get busted.
Yeah.
I think we're foreshadowing what's going to happen. So we had all this, and it kept on going great, right? Like,
views are rolling in,
and the YouTube channel's doing great. I'm doing events and just having a ball, doing crazy things. One of the things one of the events that I was going to do, which I thought was hilarious, we were going to do a car cruise from Pennsylvania to Michigan. I was in the middle of planning it. It was going to be for the spring. It was going to be the big opening spring thing. And again, I kind of like the funny parts of it. So we were going to start in Blue Balls, Pennsylvania.
Great.
Have a stop in Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and then end in Climax, Michigan.
Those are places?
Those are places. And it's about a 600-mile cruise, or no, about 300 or 400 miles.
Sure,
cruise.
yeah.
So we were going to have as many cars that we could get, just join. It wasn't going to cost anything. If you had a Saturday afternoon, we were just going to do this cruise. And so those were the kinds of things that I liked to do.
Sure.
But train of thought. So anyway, in the summer of 18, so I started the channel in March of 17. So we're in June of 18. I happened to be doing an Uber ride.
Like a legit Uber ride?
No.
Oh, okay. For a video.
I was going to do a YouTube video Uber ride.
Yeah.
With the secretary at my dad's work.
Okay.
She had never ridden in a very fast car before, kind of like a perfect thing, right?
Sure.
Trisha and the kids were out of town. I had nothing to do. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. The engine blew in the Hellcat. A big old hole on the side of the block of the Hellcat.
Okay.
And
was that due to like overexertion, or why do you think that happened?
I think it happened because in February, I wanted to do a video of this Hellcat in the snow.
Okay.
It's a very famous video of, and I have a copy of it, so I'll send it to you.
Sure, send it to me, yeah.
Of my Hellcat just bouncing off the rev limiter going through the snow. Interesting fact, a friend of mine, a photographer here in Chicago, he filmed the video from my minivan as I'm driving the Hellcat.
Okay.
He posted it, and he got all the money for it.
Oh.
I didn't get any money for that. He made like $8,000 off this video of my Hellcat doing, trying to go through the bouncing off the rev limiter.
Yeah.
And I didn't get anything. But because I literally was just bouncing this car off the rev limiter for 20 or 30 minutes, I think that harmed the motor.
Can you tell me, you were bouncing it off what?
The rev limiter. So it was going da 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 da.
Ah, sorry, I don't know anything about cars. So you were just flooring it. Yeah, okay.
You can see it in this video.
Okay.
Anyway, so I think it damaged the motor. Okay. And then 3 months later, I wasn't even giving it full throttle. I was just, slightly on the gas, getting ready to go full throttle, and it blew up. It went bang, ding, 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 ding. And it was interesting because leading up to that point, Trisha and the kids were on vacation. They wanted me to go, and I'm like, I got to do YouTube, I got to do this, and I got to do that. So they went on vacation. I stayed home. And then, the YouTube thing going up has always had been a point of contention in our marriage.
Sure. I mean, yeah, even if it's for work, it's impossible to like not be hurt at the thought of like, oh yeah, I can't go on vacation. I got to do this. Like, even if it's for like, I'm doing this to provide, I'm doing, it's got to get done. Yeah. It's impossible not to have contention over something like that for sure.
And the YouTube thing leading up to it for the last year, like Trisha was okay with me starting it. For the first like 3 months, it was kind of cool. She was annoyed because it started taking more and more in my life, right? Like, what a 20-minute video, an hour a week, 2 hours a week. It became all-consuming.
Sure.
And then it became popular, which I tend to think that she's like, yeah, if you want to start a YouTube channel, fine.
Yeah, go for it, honey. Right. Have fun.
Like, right.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Who's going to watch a fat white guy drive around in a stupid purple car, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that was what her thoughts were.
Never said out loud, you just...
Right. I love my wife, and I think she has a history of letting other people tell me no, rather than her saying no.
Bless her heart.
Yeah. And every time she's done that, I think it has bitten her because, whatever. But anyway, this became popular. And she didn't, it became a real contention because people started driving by our house, knocking on our door.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
How did they find out where you lived?
Oh, that was because I would do a video and my address would be right above my head.
Maybe like the house number, but like not the street, number. Right? So
no,
people would go out of their way to like.
First of all, if you ever watch YouTube, you could figure out where people live. It's not hard.
Okay.
Because I would film in my car. So one of the videos I would have just like this, I would have the camera up on the windshield filming me, and behind me you would see all the landmarks. Okay. So like you would see the school that I drive by, you would see the subdivision entrance name that I drove by a couple times, and then you're like, okay, well, this is the subdivision that he lives in.
Sure.
And then you'd be like, okay, this is the house number. It didn't take very long for people to figure it out.
So what would they want if they came and knocked on your door?
They would want to say hi.
That's all they wanted?
Or they would want, to talk to me or hang out or whatever.
Really?
But, at the time, we had Audrey, who was 2.5 years old. We had Sarah, who, was a year old.
Yeah, you had babies in the house.
Yeah, right. And then we had Nick and Matt
and
then Trisha. So I wouldn't be around. And then they would, drive by, honk the horn,
Oh, God. I can't even imagine. I'm just picturing how my wife would react to that. And I think it would not be good.
Right.
I don't know if I quite have the words for that, but I think not be good covers all.
And so, and if you start out the YouTube channel, you can plan for that kind of thing, right? Like you could film somewhere not near your house. You can, whatever. But then the thing is like, all right, where are you going to leave to go film? And then, so anyway, that became problems. And then there was the time consumption, the money, because up until that tires aren't cheap. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
so it just, there was not a lot of benefit to a lot of time and a lot of expense. And then there was, we would go somewhere, and let's say I would go to the grocery store with her, and people would be like walking by, and now all of a sudden a 30-minute grocery trip took 45 minutes or an hour
Right.
or longer. And because you couldn't go anywhere without people recognizing you, not anywhere, but like towards the end, when I was getting 1 to 2 million views a month, like I couldn't go to the grocery store without at least 2 or 3 people seeing me and saying hi. I loved it.
Sure.
That was the
Yeah.
part that I liked.
Yeah. Talking to
Not-
people and
Right. Not the whole, I didn't care if anybody recognized me or not.
Right.
It was, I like talking to people.
yeah, you got
That's
to
one
meet
of-
cool people, I'm
Right.
sure. Yeah.
And so, but it was an annoyance for her. But we were already so far down the path that there wasn't like a way to turn around.
Sure. Yeah. You can't undo posting, having videos up with your address.
Well,
or
and at that point, I had the Mustang, I had a Ram, I had
very recognizable
Mustang.
cars on the
Well,
street. Yeah.
But not just that. I had 5 cars that I was paying for. So the YouTube revenue was paying for all these cars. So it wasn't like I could just say, I'm out.
Right. You got bills to pay.
I got bills to pay because I
Okay.
didn't pay cash for any of those things.
Okay.
So that was the challenge with that. And so it was like we were in a catch-22. What do we do?
Right.
I ended up getting rid of the Mustang. I ended up keeping the Focus, and I had the Ram, and I had the Hellcat. The engine blew on the Hellcat
Right.
in June. I had a dealership in Libertyville, Illinois, replace the engine. And they did it as part of a YouTube thing. They gave me a discount. I only paid the labor. They got the engine for free.
Okay.
It was a great deal.
Sure.
I picked up the car. It was running like crap. It was not running very well.
Okay.
And the service manager said, hey, the car's running not very well. It's a fuel problem. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I put it on the trailer. He's like, you got to call your tuner. And best tuner in the country for Dodge cars. So I'm like, all right. So I bring the car home, get the car off the trailer, drive it. I'm trying to figure out the logistics of this engine not running right.
Where is the tuner? Are they local or?
He, I think at that time, moved to Virginia.
Okay.
But whenever you're diagnosing a problem with a car, you want to be able to say, when I do this, this is what happens.
Sure. Yeah.
So-
Yeah. When I
so,
step
like-
on the gas, it makes a noise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm like, all right, am I going half throttle? Am I doing whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And so as I go through all this stuff, the car catches fire. I'm out on that same road that I used for testing all the time.
Yeah.
I'm giving it half throttle, nothing's happening. Like it's sputtering. It's not, more gas I give it, less things happen. And the car's smoking, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh no.
So I pop the hood, car bursts into flames.
So it's just on fire in this back frontage kind of road.
Yeah. Plainfield Police Department, Fire Department, they come out, put the car out,
Yeah.
whatever. Now the car, during the month or 6 weeks that the car was in the shop, my views were in the tank because I had the Mustang. At that point I got rid of the Mustang. I had the Focus and I had the Ram.
You were missing the
And
star
the-
of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to come up with things to do with this stuff, and it's just not working.
Okay.
And then the car catches fire. I called the tuner the next morning. I'm like, dude, this happened. And he goes, well, I know what happened. And it's well known now, there's a fuel line that comes from the back of the car where the fuel tank is, up to the front firewall, and then it's a steel line, and then there's a rubber line that connects to a Y pipe, essentially, that goes down to the fuel injectors. Well, that plastic connector if it's not plugged in properly, it can come loose. And because it was high pressure, just popped loose, spilled fire or fuel everywhere, caught the car on fire.
Oh man.
Um,
Something that the dealership should have caught or
Yes.
secured correctly? Okay.
and so that was the challenge of the situation.
Okay.
Um, my tuner, Tim Barth, said, that's happened to me here on our dyno. We've replaced an engine, we've done that, fuel line pops off, fuel everywhere. We're lucky that we've never caught fire because, you know,
Right.
we have fire extinguishers and things like
Sure.
that. Since then, on those Hellcats after my car, Mopar started taping those from the factory.
Okay.
And they altered the way they do things. And it became a one-time use connector or something like that. But there was altercations to that afterwards.
Okay.
But what happened is when they pulled the engine out, they just put it in there. And mistakes happen. I wasn't mad. Nobody got hurt. It was like, you know, whatever. I waited to figure out what happened. Tim Barth told me what happened. Plainfield PD, Plainfield Fire Department, Allstate or State Farm, my insurance company, did their investigation. You know, all of this stuff happened. And so I called the dealer. And I'm like, hey. And this whole time, Trisha is really annoyed.
Yeah. Why?
Because I'm trying to shoot YouTube videos. The money is declining.
Yeah.
And this thing. So I call the dealership and I call the owner of the dealer. I'm like, listen, this is a problem. I'm going to order a new Hellcat, right? Let's figure out this problem. And I want to order it through your dealership. Mistakes happen, right? And I'm like, let's just turn this sour thing into a great new deal. And he goes, no. Because I had about $25,000 in modifications to the car.
Okay.
It cost me about $12,000 out of pocket. And I'm like, listen, give me 12 grand. We can call it a day. I'll order the car from you. It'll be a whole big publicity thing. Everybody wins.
Yeah.
And he said, no. He said, you torched your own car.
Oh.
Yeah. And I said, what? And he said, somebody that knows you called us and said that you torched your own car. And I'm like, first of all, I get millions of views monthly. So
Sure.
finding me is not the most difficult thing in the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't believe that. And he goes, no, they know you. And I'm like, okay. And he wouldn't give me any more information. I'm like, just tell me who it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, not going to do that. And I'm like, well, you know, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, your dealer screwed up. It's not just me saying that. It's your service manager saying the car wasn't running right. It was the Plainfield Fire Department. It was the Plainfield Police Department. It's the State Farm investigator. It's Tim Barth, the most respected Hellcat tuner in the world, telling you what has happened. Here's all this stuff. It was a simple mistake that caused my car to catch on fire. And, you know, so you're not giving me any other information other than somebody that knows me says that I torched my own car. That's stupid.
Crazy. Did you ever figure out?
Oh, yeah.
Buckle in.
So, and I'm like, listen, you know, I'm not some asshole that you can just screw around with and not take care of this problem. Because then what I am going to do tomorrow is release a video of you accusing me of torching my own car. That will be a very bad day for you.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out. Like, tell me who told you this and give me some proof other than
other than I told you so. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Other than someone you know.
Right.
And he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. Pound sand. Like, all right. So I go out, and part of that conversation, he said, when your car left, it was running 100% perfectly. And I said, I have video of your service manager saying that it wasn't running very well. He goes, you didn't have permission. I go, yes, I did. This whole thing was a media thing. And some of the video I cut out of my original video was of the car not running right.
Yeah.
He says that it was a fueling problem. Tim Barth says that it was the fuel line that broke.
Sure.
So I'm like, A plus B plus C equals your guy made a mistake.
Yes.
And so I go on YouTube the next day and I'm like, listen, I lay out the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And I say who I called. I even put the video of the guy saying it's not running right, of the car not running right.
Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to know. That video got like 600,000 views in like 4 hours.
Holy cow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I get a call from a friend of the dealers and like, hey, pull that video down. And I'm like, no, like,
Right.
I want to know. And I said, somebody called and said that they know me. He won't give me any information or identify that person who called. Yet they're accusing me of arson.
Right. Yeah. Of insurance fraud, of
Right.
all kinds of stuff. That's
felonies.
right. That's not a light thing to accuse
Right.
you of.
And they're like, because you needed the insurance money for the car. Well, first of all, that made no sense because I could have sold the car the next day for what I owed on it or more than what I owed. And more than what insurance gave me for the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I was making a ton of money with the car on YouTube. So
Sure.
from a revenue standpoint,
Right.
the car made more sense doing that than it did.
Yeah. Then it did torching it for some insurance money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, within 3 days, or a week, I get a cease and desist letter from their law firm,
Okay.
which happens to be a big name, politically connected law firm in Chicago.
Okay.
And it says cease and desist. And it's this 3-page paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of things that I said in my videos that were either incorrect or wrong or defamatory.
While you had posted the proof in the same video.
So I take the video, and in the video, they they say that it was my mom who called the dealership. And so they say, your mother called us. That's who we got the information from.
They said it was your mom?
Yeah. And first thing I do is I call my mom. And I'm like, did you call the dealership? She's like, no. And to be honest, I wasn't sure if she did or not.
Okay.
And so, because at that time, there's been some disagreements, family issues. But anyway,
Okay.
I wasn't sure if she did or not. And I'm like, tell me now. And she said no. And I'm like, okay.
She said no, she didn't? Or she said, no, I'm not going to tell you?
No, she said no, she did not
Okay.
call the dealership.
Okay.
And I said, all right, well, you go on YouTube. And she's like, I don't want my face on YouTube. I'm like, all right, fine. But I want you to say it. And so I was doing this whole legal thing
Sure.
because I'm going argument by argument by argument on where they're wrong, where they're right, everything. So at the point to where they say, your mom called, I'm like, all right. And again, I try to do everything funny.
Yeah.
I overlaid the video of my mom, who happened to just be in town that week, with the Everybody Loves Raymond wife.
Yeah.
I just took her picture and I overlaid it so when my mom was moving around, the Everybody Loves Raymond wife was moving around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you my mom? And and she goes, yes. How do you know you're my mom? Like, do you remember giving birth? And I went through like 8 different questions to kind of be funny. And then I'm like, did you call the dealership? No, blah, blah, blah. And so then I went through 45 minutes of point by point documented disagreements. I had a letter from Tim. Every point they made, I said, this is either true or this isn't true.
So you're saying you went through the cease and desist?
Every
point by
single
point.
point of it. And then At the end of the cease and desist, it said, as all cease and desist letters say, we command you to stop posting these videos and take this down. I'm like, well, let me answer the cease and desist letter for you. I take a torch and I light the letter on fire right in my driveway. And I end the video there.
Yeah.
And that was probably a mistake.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, we're getting to that. And this was in August. And I move on with my life. I continue doing videos. I sort of replaced the car. And the day after Thanksgiving, well, in September, I figured out who really called the dealership.
Okay.
Because they sued me for a cease and desist. Or they sued me to take down my video.
The individual?
The dealership did.
Oh, okay.
The dealership,
sued. So you found it out in Discovery?
No.
Oh, God. Tell me.
So when they entered the court date, they filed the lawsuit when they knew I was going to be out of town. In the Discovery, they mentioned how they figured out or how they knew the person knew me.
Okay.
And they said some things in the video that happened in my high school career when I was in high school that nobody in public would know.
Oh, okay.
So that's how they established that they knew me personally. And then at that point, I knew it was one of three people who called the dealership. It was either my mom, my mom's mom, or my mom's sister. One of those three people. I then texted all three of them, and I said, listen, the dealership has a recording of this phone call of the person who called. I'm going to get that phone call through Discovery. Better tell me now, because I'm going to light whoever it is up.
Right.
And I'm going to be suing them for defamation.
Right.
Tell me who it is. Turns out it was my mom who called.
Oh.
It was. She admitted it.
Oh.
She was mad, and she called them and lied to cause trouble.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Did she say ever, like, why? Or, like, her reason?
Yeah. A year before, my stepdad passed away.
Right.
From a DUI.
Right. Yeah.
My mom has drug and alcohol problems. She started drinking again heavily.
Okay.
And we wouldn't let her see the kids without one of us, see my kids without one of us supervising.
Sure. You can set that boundary. Yeah.
She didn't like that boundary.
Okay.
And then there were some other things, you know, she was drinking heavily. I thought she was drinking a lot and driving a lot. So there was one instance where she said that she wanted to go see her husband again, which he's dead. So I thought she meant she was going to commit suicide. So I called the police. They came out to her place, and she got really mad about that. Well, that was like 4 months before she even called the dealership. She held a grudge and called it to cause trouble, kind of retaliation.
Man.
But she didn't tell me that because she thought that I would not let her see the kids, which I didn't do.
Okay.
At that time. So anyway, it was her. The next day, when I found out it was the dealership, I called the dealership and I said, I'll agree to take down the videos. They also wanted me to not sue them for the car.
Okay.
And I called their lawyers and I said, listen, I found out that it was my mom who called you. Legit, it was her. From this information, it was her. I understand, given the information that you had from my mom lying to you, that what you did was reasonable. I will take down the videos. We're not going to end the suit or the insurance. I'm not going to subrogate the responsibility for my car burning down. But
Sure.
I am going to take down the videos and we'll move it from there.
Yeah. Clean up your side of the street.
Yeah.
You know? Because that does make sense. I mean, if they shoot, if someone would believe my mom. It's,
Exactly.
You know, like.
So, and I said, she's lying. She's a lying sack of you know what.
Right.
But I understand what you your actions were reasonable given the information that you had.
Right.
And so therefore I will take down the videos. I think I could have won because I didn't say anything that was illegal or anything that was wrong or
Sure.
misinformation, but I thought that it was the right thing to do. So I took down the videos. 2 months later, the Friday after Thanksgiving. So there's Thanksgiving Friday and then a week later.
Okay.
I'm taking Nick to school and I get pulled over for going the wrong way down a one-way street, which is in my neighborhood, which is separated by, bushes.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the heck? And I get arrested for 19 counts of street racing.
This is kind of what we've been teasing, I guess.
Yeah. And one charge of child endangerment. And not only that, 5 of my friends were arrested at the same time. Well, within the same time period.
Okay.
I had a $40,000 cash bail, $400,000 overall bond or bond bail, whatever. $400,000, 10% to apply to get out of jail.
Right.
And it was cash. It wasn't like, and they arrested me on a Friday at like 8 in the morning. And before they got me to Will County, they got me Will County jail within an hour after the cutoff for the same day court date. So
okay.
I had to stay in jail all the way through the weekend.
Okay.
Until Monday at 2 p.m. And then I had a court date and the judge was like, I'm the wrong judge to hear this case for bond. We need another court date. So I had to wait until Tuesday.
Okay. Wait, I want to back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And tell me if you're going to explain all of this, because it had been some time that these videos have been posted.
Yep.
But they just
months.
decided that today was the day that they were going to grab you and...
No. Well,
okay.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Somebody called Plainfield Police Department.
Oh, this somebody keeps popping up.
I don't know if it was my mom. My suspicion is it was the dealership or the law firm.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't know? You don't know who tipped them off? Or do you think you were at all on the police department's radar?
Nope.
Really?
No, because during discovery, right after, on August, the end of August, they got a tip to look at my YouTube videos. So that's how the investigation opened. I knew that because of the discovery piece.
Okay.
They never said who, but it was right around within the same day or two that I got the cease and desist letter from the law firm.
Interesting. Okay. And this is all allegedly because we don't know.
Well, we know that I got the cease and desist letter, and then we know that somebody called and the police chief of Plainfield opened up the investigation.
And that's when the investigation started. So you were hit with 19 counts of street racing.
Correct.
Now, define street racing.
So Illinois has a very liberal or open interpretation of street racing.
Okay.
It's one or more vehicles racing against a clock or another vehicle is defined as street racing.
And what do they define as race?
For competition.
For competition.
Or against a clock in a competitive fashion.
Okay.
So all of the videos where I would do 0 to 60 testing was considered street racing.
Even if you were by yourself?
I was by myself on most of those videos.
Oh, they got you.
So I'm on a dead-end street that's abandoned doing 0 to 60 testing on, say, a Ford or my truck or whatever, saying, hey, this truck will do 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds, which, by the way, who doesn't do 60 miles an hour on Route 59 or anywhere in...
Sure, yeah.
Right?
But it was because you were against the clock, trying to clock the... That's so interesting.
And then it gets worse.
How?
Because they also charged me with child endangerment. And...
Right, yeah, let's circle back to that.
So in one of the videos, I was doing an exhaust testing video of a new exhaust I got. Nick at the time was 12. He was in 7th grade.
This is your oldest.
He's my oldest. He was in 7th grade. He was operating a tripod on the side of the road in a ditch as I was accelerating away from him. So picture, he's here, car's here, I'm going this way.
Okay, so he's like behind you, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at one point, I drove past him. He's in the ditch, and I drive past him.
Okay.
At 35 miles an hour.
Okay.
They considered that child endangerment. And I'm like, people sell Girl Scout cookies on the side of the road. Like,
right.
Yeah. They were just looking for everything to charge me. On top of that, one of the things I didn't know was one of the people that I did YouTube videos with. So I would meet somebody at a car show, I would meet another YouTuber, and we would do videos.
Yeah, you'd collab. Yeah.
Yeah, we would collab. One of them was a registered sex offender.
Oh.
Yeah. He worked at a high school.
Okay.
And ended up sleeping with a student.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. And he ended up, I guess, while he was on bail or something with that situation, he ran over a child in a 14-year-old or whatever in a crosswalk, and the kid died.
Oh.
He was suspected texting and driving.
Oh, did you know all of this when you collabed?
No idea. Nothing. Okay. First of all, my channel was called Family Cruisin', so there's no way that I would have a registered sex offender on my channel.
Yeah, that checks out.
And but the news media, he was also in IT. He needed help. I had the day off from work, and he's like, "Hey, I'm running into this problem in computer or with his company. Can you help me with it?" Sure. I'm like, I got the day off. I can, come out to your company. So he was meeting me at my house, and then we're gonna go into his. So when I got arrested, he also got arrested the exact same day at the same time.
Oh, that's terrible optics.
Oh, really bad optics. Because Plainfield Police Department issued a news press release that said a street racing ring, a child sex offender was arrested in a street racing ring in Plainfield.
Oh, God. Wait, a street racing ring?
That's what they called it.
That's what they called it?
Yeah.
Did they hit you with a Rico or something like that?
It sure as heck looked like it. Like, they were, the people posting on Facebook and all over the place, which they were thinking that, like, it was Fast and Furious driving right down Route 59 and things like that.
Sure, yeah.
And it was like, none of it was on Route 59.
Right.
The most dangerous thing that one of the charges was for my 50 to 150 video that I did on 355, literally at 5:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. I have a clip of the video here. You can insert it.
Okay, I'll put it in, yeah.
You can tell that it was very early in the morning because all the headlights are on, mm-hmm. and it's really dark. So it was like 5:30 in the morning, and we were testing 3 cars, doing between 100 and 150.
Okay.
And again, nobody else was around. That was like the most dangerous. Everything else was 0 to 60 testing.
Sure, yeah.
On an abandoned road.
Yeah.
Actually, the road is closed now. It's Book Road between 111th and 119th and 127th Street.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know where that is, yeah.
Yeah, so 119th Street over by the Polo Club to 127th Street. Mm-hmm. You have Route 59 to the south. You can put a map here.
Right, yeah.
You have Route 59 to the west. You have Napier Plainfield Road to the east.
Yeah.
And then there's road that goes in between that goes nowhere on either side.
Right.
That's where I did all my videos. And that's where they said all the street racing happened.
Gotcha.
So but that wasn't the key.
There's no way. I might have put 2 and 2 together just now. I, growing up, lived in, I guess you could call it earshot of that road.
Yeah.
I used to hear cars.
I wasn't the only one.
Okay, but could it have been you?
Oh yeah, it probably was. I mean, if it was around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it was me. Because that's where I would be at all the time.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I don't live there anymore, but yeah, I know that road well. That's pretty close to Plainfield East High School, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but there's burnout marks all over that road. Everybody who was a car guy used that road.
I used to hear it a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was the most convenient, safe place to do anything because nobody would ever use it.
Yeah.
And so after I was arrested, $40,000 bail to get out that day. Plainfield released the news report, and all the news media picked it up. It even ended up on Fox News and MSN.
Man. And it was...
The headline was, child sex offender arrested in street racing ring in Plainfield. 5 paragraphs of this article was about my street racing ring.
Yeah.
Street racing YouTuber.
Right.
Last paragraph outlined who was the child sex offender and why they were arrested too. But you had to read to the very last 3 sentences of a long news article to get that.
And if you didn't, and you just read the headline and kind of skimmed through, they would see your name with a title of sex offender.
Correct.
Oh my God, that's vile.
Not just that, it was my mugshot.
Oh.
At the top.
What do you do about that? What can you do about that?
Well, my dad and my Trisha called all the new and ripped them new ones.
Right.
And then there's also a viral video that I'll show here that all of the news media used. And it was one of the things that I did was I created sound clips. And someone wants to know, how loud is this exhaust? How does it sound? Whatever. I took a lot of time to try to get accurate sound clips of cars. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I did was I used a sound meter, like you see here.
Yeah.
And I would drive by.
Like a decibel meter?
A decibel.
Sure, yeah.
And it even said decibel meter on it.
Yeah.
And in one of them, it said 122 decibels or 119 decibels on a car standing on the side of the road as I drove by.
Sure.
And again, I'll put that clip in there too. But anyway, all the news media said, see, here's them doing 120 miles an hour past a 45 mile an hour speed limit sign.
Oh, they took the decibel meter as a miles per hour?
Yes. And I called all the news media. I'm like, this isn't accurate. This is not accurate. And they're like, well, our sound guy says it is. I'm like, your sound guy's an idiot.
Your sound guy should know what a decibel meter looks like. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right. And so this video that I'll show you here, Well, wait, because I have it. You can see it.
Yeah, I am interested to see that. But so they put that out. Basically inadvertently calling you a sex offender.
Yes.
And then post a clip that says you went 122 miles an hour.
Yes.
So, I mean, did you consider or did you threaten or did you take legal action for something like that?
Can't.
No, why?
Because it's very difficult. So
even if it's just blatant, is it difficult because it's like a news outlet, or is it difficult just because it's difficult?
What are you going to do? Sue them? It would have just. I had so many other problems at the time.
Yeah, man. I guess. Yeah.
So here's. I'll turn the. So I started the video with a police interaction because after we got done filming, somebody called the cops. But whatever.
Sure. And this will show the decibel. Oh yeah.
Isn't that clearly a decibel reader?
If I can be honest, the trippy part is the needle that looks like it goes from 20 to 130.
Yeah, but that's how a decibel reader reads.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. That is a decibel meter. I know that that's a decibel meter, but I don't think it says anywhere on there like, I don't want to defend them because their sound guy should have known that was a decibel meter. But that is,
yeah.
I guess I can see how they got there, but it's still pretty inexcusable for like a major news network. That's pretty.
I even shared the app that I used.
Okay.
I'm like, this is the app. Go look it up.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
You could, because I took a.
You can see the same interface. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that was part of it. the bigger problem was everybody thought I was a child sex offender.
Yeah. Let's not gloss over that. Like,
someone thinking I'm doing 150 miles an hour. Okay, whatever.
that's one thing.
Right? There was like 3 issues that were dramatic.
Sure.
1, I was in jail for 5 days. Challenge. 2, Trisha, my wife, was already super annoyed with YouTube. Now
You're
we got
arrested
to come up with
because of YouTube.
$40,000 to get out of jail.
Right.
3, I'm now mistaken for a child sex offender, and I have no idea what's going on the outside, right? Because I'm in Will County Jail.
Oh my God.
And so I'm sitting there thinking, all right, 1, nobody told me that I was being mistaken for a child sex offender.
Right.
I didn't find out until like Saturday or Sunday when my dad finally told me.
While you were still
in jail.
In jail.
Like, nobody told, I'm like, are you serious? And then Trisha, who doesn't like people coming by the house, had NBC, CBS, ABC news vans outside my house trying to get interviews.
Right.
And so I had no idea. Like, I didn't know what the challenge was. So as I'm sitting in jail, fortunately, one of my viewers and one of the people that I met, a very good guy, was friends with a deputy sheriff in Will County.
Okay.
They put me in my own jail cell, so I didn't have to share a jail cell with anybody.
Okay.
And they kind of like gave me the best way. The guards there were very nice, very professional. They, there was a few of them that thought that this was politically motivated and BS, but they were very nice. They were doing their job. They had to do their job, right? But it was still a horrible experience, but I didn't have to share a jail cell with it,
which thank God, because if it got out that you were,
Yeah. Well, people knew,
yeah.
But it was, so I was left there. They had a book cart that they came around, and like the only book that I could get was a Bible. And then later I was able to get a Tom Clancy book, but it was that. And then I'm like, all right, where am I supposed to go here? Right? Like at this point, I knew that the media was involved because when I was at the police station, somebody came by as they were taking my fingerprints and handed a press release to the officer that was booking me. And he read it and says, yeah, I approve. I'm like, what is that? And he goes, oh, it's the press release. I'm like, I knew it was bad at that point.
Right. Yeah. Press release.
Yeah. And so anyway, I find out later that this guy was a registered sex offender. And then I find out about all this stuff. I get out of jail on Tuesday. I thought we were going down the path of divorce. Like, I'm like, she's had enough of this, right?
Sure.
And I'm like, all right, how do if I can put my marriage back together, how am I going to do that? And then what are the problems that I'm going to face, right? Like the whole time I'm there, I'm thinking, I'm like, God, just let this work out and I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah, right. Hey, God.
And so when we get done, or when I get out, I'm like, all right, my job, my boss knew I did YouTube. I didn't tell anybody that I did. Like, my boss knew, but I never said what I did. Nobody knew my last name. Nobody, like my work connected to YouTube was completely separate. And to this day, if I can give any tips to anybody out there, do not mix work and social media together. Do not have work friends on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Just, it is not worth it. You never know what can happen, what can be misconstrued, whatever. Just don't do it. Separate church and state. That is the rule.
That's what LinkedIn is for.
Exactly. But back then, same thing. YouTube and work never intermingled.
So, and you had a job, like a 9 to 5, like this
yeah.
whole time, right?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to gloss over, I guess. You were working
I
full
was-
time and doing this like at nights and weekends.
Correct.
Was there ever a point in the 18 months where you thought, I could just do this full time?
Absolutely.
Really?
I thought I was 18 months away from quitting my job because revenue was growing.
Yeah.
I thought I was within 18 months of, doing YouTube full time.
And that's what you were thinking when you woke up and was arrested that morning.
Yeah,
You thought you were another 18 months away.
exactly.
Wow. And so, of course, now we're talking about that had ramifications in your professional life.
Oh, yeah. I get out of jail thinking, okay, I get out of jail, $15,000 cash to get out of jail. I think, okay, I have a job. I need to figure out, because like I said, I was doing really well with my job. Everybody, I had a lot of clients. I had, work. It was great. I'm like, all right.
Wait, did you say 15,000 or 40,000?
They lowered it from 40 to 15.
Okay. Was there any reason for that, or?
My attorney asked.
Oh, okay.
But
Shout
it
out
was
to-
still, so I ended up getting a new attorney. The attorney that I hired, very well known in Will County, probably the best attorney in Will County, said that by far has been the highest bail for a misdemeanor charge that he has ever seen. By far, not even close. I was in jail with a person who stabbed their girlfriend in the neck, threw her in the trunk of a car, and was driving around Will County, and he had $7,500 bail. And I had 40.
Hi. I don't know. Maybe it was just like the overwhelming amount of like evidence. Do you think?
No.
No?
Because
I don't really know
bail
how
doesn't really
bail works.
So it was the maximum fine was $2,500 and 365 days in Will County. That was the maximum penalty I could get.
Okay.
And yet it was $40,000 to get out. It was punitive.
Okay.
There was no way else to say it. They wanted to make a big statement, and they made a gigantic statement.
Okay. So you're in jail. You're wondering, how do we move on from this? You think your marriage is over. You think, what's the next step?
So I get out, and everything turned on its head. Everything was the exact opposite of what I thought.
Really?
Trisha was very supportive, most supportive person I could have ever imagined. I had no job. My boss, I'm friends with him to this day, said, we have to let you go. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, we have no customers. You have no customers. They all, cut ties with you.
Really? This
And I'm
happened while
like-
you were in jail? They
Yeah,
all
and
just...
I'm like, yeah, they did. And I'm like, why? And he goes, well, I got a whole bunch of calls from all of your customers, and they're like, why did you hire a registered sex offender? Why did you have a sex offender come to my company? And he's like, no, he's just a street racer. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, it was a thing that I couldn't. And he said, I didn't want to let you go, but the CEO or the CEO or whoever, vice president or whatever, I can't remember what his title was, said, no, let him go. My boss, Don, wanted to keep me. And he's like, this will blow over in a few days. It's not a big deal. He's a great guy, whatever. No, I got let go. Fine. No big deal. I mean, it was a gigantic deal,
Right, yeah,
but,
right.
but like, I'm sitting there going, okay. I just had to come out with 15 G's to get out of jail.
Right.
No job. My attorney said, delete all your YouTube videos. So no more YouTube revenue like that.
Oh.
So no revenue, nothing. And so I'm like, how in the hell do I get past all of this?
Right.
And this was all going into Christmas. Like this was, 3 weeks before Christmas.
Sure.
The first thing I did was I'm like, all right, well, I need to get out of this somehow. Help me. And that's what God did. And the first thing I did was delete all my YouTube videos and say, I'm never doing that again. That was one of the things that, Trisha's like, we can't go back to YouTube. Yeah, no, that's done. Right? Like,
We agree on that.
we get done with YouTube, we move on. I try to apply for jobs, not getting anywhere. I've had so many people I had one interview. I swear I got the job from a small consulting company here in Chicago. And they call me back and say, well, we did a Google search on you. I'm like, great. And they're like, we don't hire sex offenders. I'm like, I'm not a sex offender. And they're like, too bad. And she was mean. Like the girl, she was mean to me on the phone. And I'm like, fine. Hung up the phone. And I ended up finding this job that I got now. And it paid more money. It was a better position. It was all around a better situation. And it was all because God provided, right? I recently sold a car to a guy in Ohio. And because we were doing it remotely, he was going to be wiring money and I was going to be shipping the car. There had to be a level of trust between us, right, to make this deal happen. Yeah. He Googled me. And he goes, I read the news articles about your whole YouTube thing. And I kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, all right. And he goes, and he said, I read the whole articles. He goes, when I first read it, I thought you were a registered sex offender. And I'm like, to this day, literally, this happened 3 weeks ago.
Right. And this all ended in 2018, right?
2018, correct.
This is 8 years later.
Right. But it doesn't, to this day, it doesn't bother me. It really annoys me sometimes, especially back then because it was affecting my ability to get a job or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I got the job and I'm like, you know what, so what? I remember I met with one of our pastors here at church, Chris, and his normal job was being a police officer. Afterwards, he thought that I wanted to ask him a bunch of questions about, law
the trial
and things. And he started down that conversation. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, listen, it's going to be a funny story that I'm going to tell my kids one day. How long it takes for it to be funny is the only determining factor.
Right.
And how much money it costs is another determining factor. Other than that, and I'm like, I don't really care because I can always order more money, right? Like, I don't know how much it's going to cost. It costs a heck ton. That wasn't what I was concerned about. I wasn't even really concerned about the marriage, but because I knew that Trisha was fine, I was more or less trying to figure out how to manage the relationship with my mom and how God affects what God tells us with that.
I don't know. I kind of, so now I'm getting excited about this kind of next part of the conversation because you credit God for pulling you out of this.
Yeah, because it sure as hell wasn't me.
Sure.
I got myself into the mess.
Did you have any kind of faith before this? Some?
But
what did it
really
look like?
So, a history. So, we would come to the church whenever it was convenient for me. We would come to this church. But most of the time I wouldn't. I'd be doing YouTube things. I would just, whatever. It was mainly Trisha and the kids would come.
Yeah.
But for me, religion had always been used by my mom as a shield against criticism. So I was always very skeptical.
Bad taste in your mouth from it.
Oh, extremely bad taste.
Okay. So then what switched? What do you have a moment? Do you have
it was when I was in jail. When I was there, God, get me out of this. And then he did. And so that's what switched the whole thing.
Right. We were talking, because we were in men's group last night, because you and I are in a men's group together.
Yeah.
And we're reading a book by Earl Ferguson, and it got to that kind of quote in the book where it says sometimes God lets something bad happen to you because if he didn't, something worse would happen to you.
And this is that I mentioned it last night. If this didn't happen, if being mistaken for a child sex predator, arrested, put in jail for fake street racing, because the elements of the crime existed.
Right.
There's committed the crime.
Yeah. Tough to deny that.
I did what they said I did.
Yeah.
The challenge is the everybody did it excuse. When my kids use that, I kind of, whatever. But this is true that 0 to 60 testing on an abandoned road isn't dangerous. It doesn't meet the, in my opinion, the spirit of the rules of the law, right?
Sure. I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. But if that didn't happen, my YouTube channel was growing really well. At the time, it was sort of slowing down in its growth, but that generally happens anyway.
Sure, you plateau eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
But I had other ideas for growing the channel even more and things like that, right? Like, I had 75,000 subscribers, consistently 1 million views a month. And so we were doing really well for over 18 months, right?
Right.
The challenge was, where would I be at today
Right.
if I kept on down that path? If 18 months later, I was making enough revenue that I didn't have to have a full-time job.
You were full-time with it. What does that look like?
The YouTube channel was an extreme antagonistic part of our marriage within Trisha and I. It was dramatic. It was weekly arguments over it. And so the question was, where would we be at today? Would I still be married to Trisha? Wouldn't I still have the relationship I have with my kids today because of it? I don't know. I suspect no. There's been several YouTubers that I know and have been friends with that have all gotten divorced. Most of them. One left his family in Minnesota and moved to California.
To pursue YouTube.
To pursue YouTube and other opportunities, right? So, where does that end?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
And
either,
my
but-
suspicion is I wouldn't be having this amazing relationship I have with my wife and my kids today.
Right. You probably wouldn't be anywhere near as close to God as you are right now.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And so when that verse hit me yesterday, and when that thing, it's absolutely true. This was probably one of the best things that ever happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because Doug, when we started talking about that, one of the other guys in our men's group, he talked about the rod and the staff in the Bible, where
Right.
if there's a shepherd, he's got a rod and a staff, and sometimes if a sheep goes off course, he'll use the staff to gently bring him back. But if he keeps going off, the shepherd would take the rod and break his leg and carry him over his shoulder. It's sometimes that, that's kind of a really hard part about faith. Because, like, what do you mean you're going to break my leg for my good?
well, and this is the other thing that I've always wondered, because I tend to be a skeptic.
Yeah.
On a lot of things. A lot of people attribute to God did this, God put me here, God did this thing. Really? I know God controls everything, but did he really do that, or was that your own stupidity? Because I have a lot of my own stupidity that I attribute to my mistakes. That isn't God. God fixed it.
Yeah.
Right? And like, oh, this bad thing happened because God wanted it to happen. Or this thing happened because God wanted it, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do you, that has always been, how does that work?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, God didn't tell me to do a YouTube channel.
Right.
He told me not to.
Right.
I just wasn't
blew a
listening.
hole in your engine, caught your
Right.
car on fire. There
Right.
were signs.
Right.
I think how I answer that question is there was a quote that I recently came across, which was, God's sovereignty does not negate human accountability. Which basically just means, like, we have free will here on this earth. We have the free will to do whatever and anything. I don't think God is controlling things like a puppet master. I think if he did, there would be no room for us to have a relationship with him.
Right.
I think that's how I kind of answer that question, is I don't think he's up there controlling everything. I think he may do gentle course corrections. I think he may let us know when we're going off the deep end, and I think he may allow bad things to quote unquote bad things to happen to us, like Job in the Bible, who God gave express permission to say, yeah, you can mess with him. He's not going to leave my side. Now, that Job's story doesn't apply to everyone. I get a
Yeah.
chuckle when people say I'm going through something. I'm like, Job. It's like, no, part of that was your fault. Like,
Right.
part of that you did.
Like,
You have accountability here on
like,
earth.
and I will say, most of the bad things that happened in my life, I somehow contributed to it.
Sure. Yeah.
And
I could say the same about myself easily.
right.
Yeah.
And so it's like when I talk to, like with this whole situation with my mom and growing up, like every time she would be drunk or have drug problems or whatever, well, you sin too. And it's like, don't throw stones at glass houses. And then all of a sudden, as she was getting deeper and deeper and deeper into drugs or alcohol, she would immediately start going to church. And like, that was like my signal, like, oh shit, things are getting real.
Right. Yeah.
Because, that kind of thing, right?
So is it fair to say, like, for you growing up, that church was viewed as like a break glass in case of emergency, like faith?
No, like Reed only went to church a couple times.
Okay.
But like my mom would all of a sudden start reading the Bible and quoting from the Bible and quoting biblical verses and things like that when someone started questioning her actions related to her drinking or drugs.
Sure.
And it would be like, oh. So I always associated that with,
Yeah. That's fair to say. Yeah.
And so, I always kind of had this very skeptical eye and this always like, really?
Mm.
Thing towards it. And then, like I said, sitting in jail, like, all right, God, get me out of this. Like, help me figure out the path forward. Like, I didn't ask him to, Jesus, take the wheel. Like,
right. Yeah.
Point me in the right direction and I will go that way.
Right. Yeah.
And he did.
I mean, I think it's fair to say that, because I mean, you and I can be honest with each other. Trisha had every right to be furious with you coming out, coming out of jail, and we've been arguing about this, and now they saw these videos, and she had every right to be furious. I don't think it's a stretch to say that at the very least God softened her heart a little bit on the matter.
Oh yeah,
because I do not think my wife would have had a soft heart on the matter, and she would have had every right to be that upset. I mean, if that's not the world's biggest "I told you so," I don't know what is.
Exactly, and she never once said "I told you so."
Oh, bless her.
Yeah, I know. I have thought about doing automotive podcasting.
Sure.
And she gives me that look like, don't even think about it. If and so I haven't. But because I really liked doing the YouTube. I like that stuff. I enjoy the speaking and the stuff, right?
Yeah. I think you're really good at it too. I mean, your results speak for themselves. You grew a channel pretty quick. I think you have a mind for those intricacies like that make a niche in a channel. Like you and I have talked about like what makes a channel good, what makes people stay and watch a video. I think though that it was Allie's message a while back where she said, do you think God's not giving you what you're asking for because you would use it to replace him? I think that quote feels kind of relevant here.
And now that we're 8 years out of this.
Sure.
And I'm 8 years in this journey with him. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Also the dynamics have changed in the YouTube business and things like that. But it is interesting to think about it. Like what would have happened if you took that alternative route?
Right. If you didn't catch the rod there, what would have happened?
Exactly.
That is fascinating to think about. I mean,
what would have happened if it wasn't a $40,000 bail that cost me 5 days in Will County, right? What happens if they would have just said, it's $500 and or what happens if it is like now with the Safety Act where you can just rob a bank and walk home, right?
Right.
You get a ticket. What would that be like? I don't know. Would I
like if the punishment wasn't as severe, would you have thought
immediately? Because overall the punishment wasn't that dramatic.
Right.
I mean, it cost a $12,000 attorney bill, over $15,000 between the two attorneys, cost a $2,500 fine, and then court supervision. So like the actual punishment wasn't that bad. because, you know, although I've always kind of lived under the philosophy I can always make more money. So like the $12,000 fine, it hurt, but it didn't hurt as much as spending 5 days in jail.
Yeah.
Right. So like if I didn't spend those days in jail, which I said I would never want to go back. Right. Like, you know, you can put the Bad Boys 2 video. I ain't going back.
I ain't going back. Chitty chitty bang bang. I do. I wanna back up something that we kind of just brushed on. You said it was yourself and a group of other people that got arrested that day.
Over the course of 3 days.
Okay. What happened to the other people? How's your relationship with them now?
So, two of the people I didn't know very well.
Okay.
One of them was my best friend since high school, Joe.
Yeah. All right, I'll beep it. Yeah.
Yeah. Joe and I are still friends. So what was interesting was I had an attorney, which was my dad's friend, which wasn't that great. I quickly realized he wasn't the right attorney. He was from Will County or Cook County. He didn't know the processes and procedures in Will County. And his performance at my bail hearing was less than stellar.
Okay.
I needed a new attorney, and I thought I had to find a new one. But how?
You're Francis Geraci.
Yeah. So I decided to, and if you ever need a criminal defense attorney, this is a great way to go about it. Figure out who the state's attorney is in your county, Jim Glasgow. See who his top campaign contributors are. Because I knew that I wasn't going to go to trial over these YouTube videos. The evidence was too great. I needed a good deal.
Yeah.
So how was I going to get the best deal? By hiring the best connected attorney. How do you do that? You find out who donates the most amount of money to the state's attorney. They're not supposed to be connected. But my suspicion is that they are. And so I interviewed the top three. The top three who donated to the state's attorneys that did traffic law, DUIs, criminal, things like that. And I ended up, and it was wild on the differences in prices. One attorney quoted me 25 grand and he wanted to go to trial. He's like, we can fight this. And I'm like,
brother, they have me.
Well, okay, so it's interesting. This is where I'll get a little nerdy on the legal side.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be a lawyer. And I went through undergrad with the intention of going to law school.
Okay.
But I was already in IT, and changing course just wasn't going to happen because I realized I was making more money in my job than I would as a starting attorney.
Sure.
YouTube videos are edited. My videos were edited. You couldn't prove, because nobody had, because I didn't even have them anymore, the original video. Everything was edited. So how could you prove that my 0 to 60 video, which I would cut from me going like this to the speedometer, that it was one video and not, me doing 60 miles an hour on the highway?
Oh, that was how that lawyer thought he could argue it?
Well, yes.
He
was thinking that you could argue that the videos were doctored, therefore inadmissible.
Okay.
That was his argument. And it was an intriguing one. But then I realized I don't want to go through that fight because I'm dealing with a Will County judge that's 85 years old and doesn't know how to work his smartphone.
Sure.
Looking at a video that shows me doing this, not realizing, I'm like, all right. The next attorney I interviewed said he would take care of it. He could get me a deal. It would be like $3,500. Okay. And I liked him. The next attorney I interviewed, which was the attorney I went with, it was $12,000. And he's like, I think I can get you a deal. I have a good relationship with the attorney. Because he asked me, his first question is, what do you want?
That's an important first question.
Yeah. He's like, what is it that you want out of it? What is the outcome that you want?
Yeah.
Not that I can give it to you, but I need to know what is the outcome that you want. And I said, well, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to spend any more time in jail. I want my license. And the rest of it, I don't care. And I'm like, well, I can't be convicted, or the charge for the child endangerment has to be dropped.
Yes.
Because I can explain street racing.
Mm-hmm.
Endangering a child, I can't really explain.
Right.
That.
Yeah. That's a tough one in a job interview. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one in public. And saying, okay, he had a video of me driving past the car while he was in the ditch. That's easily explained, but it takes longer than 5 seconds. Therefore, I don't even want to get into that conversation.
Right.
And he goes, I think I can do that. Because he saw the video. He goes, not child endangerment. He goes, I don't even think they can win on that.
Yeah. A jury would probably look at it. We'll put the video or it's already been showed, but
I don't have the video of that one.
All
but
right, that's fine. I'll take your word for it then. I trust you.
But it's literally 12-year-old sitting on the side of the road as I'm driving on the opposite side, 10 feet away from him, driving past at 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's not child endangerment.
Sure.
And I said, beyond that, I don't care. And I'm like, I don't care about the fine. I don't care about, community service. None of that matters. As long as I really like to keep my license. I really don't want to go to jail. And he goes, well, and this is where he was honest. And this is the reason why I like him. And his name's Steve Haney. If you ever need a good attorney, he's straight up.
Shout out Steve Haney.
He said, you're not going to go back to jail. He goes, you don't have a criminal record. This isn't one of those situations. He goes, I've never seen a situation like this before. This was, you pissed somebody off. So I'm like, yeah, no.
Interesting.
So
somebody called.
Yeah, well, and then it pissed somebody off enough to go through all of the processes and all this stuff, right?
Sure.
And then he says, so that's out of the question. He goes, there's a lot worse people that don't get jail time. You're never going to get that. And I'm like, all right, well, I would like to keep my license. He's like, I don't know if that's going to happen. He's like, but, he's like, do you want to go to trial? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think going to trial is going to help me. And I explained to him, what the other attorney says. And he said, I'm on the same thought as you. He goes, I don't think, he goes, there's what's written in the law, and then there's how it's interpreted. He goes, I don't think that there's a judge in Will County that's going to say, well, this video was edited like some special effects movie.
Right.
And so anyway, so he starts going down the path of getting a deal. He talks to the state's attorney, and he goes, listen, this is a deal that has to happen today. He goes, I haven't had a chance to review all of the evidence, but this is because I went to him late in the process.
Yeah.
He goes, there's a court date starting next week for one of your co-defendants. You need to plead guilty or take a plea offer. We'll hold sentencing, and you're going to agree to testify against everybody else. And I'm like, whoa.
Everybody else is in the other
4 people.
Oh, they wanted you to rat.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he goes, I'm like, I'm not so comfortable with that. And I'm like, I don't want anybody to lose their license. And he goes, they don't want everybody else. They said they're going to offer everybody court supervision except for the child sex offender.
Gotcha.
Because nobody else had. My friend Joe had no tickets prior. Never had a ticket.
Right. And he was just happened to be in a video.
Right. Doing 0 to 60 testing in his F-150.
Right.
On a road with a 55
semi-abandoned road. Yeah.
So.
That's an interesting point. That's a 55 mile an hour speed limit.
Right.
So it wasn't that you were, well, at least not in this instance with Joe. It wasn't that he was speeding because you had videos going, 150. But it was the fact that you were
0 to
racing
60 in a 55 mile an hour zone in between 2 cornfields on a dead road.
Right.
He said they're going to offer court supervision to everybody. It's up to them if they take it, but they're going to offer court supervision to everybody except the sex offender. Because right after I was arrested, after it became news media, the parents of the kid that he ran over spent every day calling the Will County State's attorney. You guys didn't give him any punishment when he killed my son. Now all of a sudden, look at this BS. You got to do something to stop him. And so I thought about it, and I'm like, well, that's the best deal I'm going to get. If everybody else takes the deal, fine. And that's what I did. Now, it took 4 years for him to go to, or 3 years. It ended in 2021, right after COVID. September of 2021 was my sentencing. I did everything I was asked. In that time frame, I did, I think, 900 hours of community service in 3 years prior, because my attorney said, do everything you can to do court supervision or for community service, do the drug and alcohol classes and the sobriety DUI class and whatever. And I'm like, I never drank a day in my life.
I know, yeah. Fun fact about you, yeah.
And they're like, so I'm sitting there at this DUI class with like 200 other people that have all been charged with DUI. And I'm like, I have never drank.
Right.
So
you take it on the chin.
I'm like, I thought that was the most useless class in the world. And he goes, but it's something that the judge is going to want to see.
Sure.
For a non-alcohol, for somebody that, he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how stupid the system is, right? Like, but I did all the classes. I did how many ever hundreds and hundreds of hours of community service for the church at High Point, not just here, but for local governments, for other places, I did it like anywhere I could do community service, I did it. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted to be able to go in front of the judge and say, please give me my license, right? And here's all of the things that I did. Cut that name out.
All right.
I mean, everybody here is going to go right on YouTube and find it.
Maybe, but it won't be from your mouth.
But anyway, he went to trial. The sex offender went to trial.
Yeah.
Or he went right up to the court date. And I was there. I spent like 4 days preparing for the trial with the state's attorneys, gave them everything that they needed, whatever, right? And you want to talk about somebody, and this is we talk about God gives us messages, and God gives us things to choose, the staff and the rod. I couldn't understand. He was a very nice guy. It seemed like he made some bad choices. He didn't go to jail. He got essentially court supervision, probation.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway, he got court supervision, ruined his life. Then, separately, he's in this traffic accident where a person was killed. Why he thought it was okay to then put himself out on YouTube, because eventually the whole point of YouTube is to make money, right?
Right.
Or at least that was what it was for me. I didn't care about the fame or whatever, but that's all. And by no means was I famous, but the notoriety, right? Like, that's a byproduct of the revenue. If you're doing this to make money and to which will come with notoriety, having that background, it seems like a very bad idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah.
That seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
And then reshot some videos. One of my other favorite places to film was at Plainfield North High School, in the parking lot.
In the parking lot, it's a big parking
because
lot.
It's right by my house. And so if I didn't film at my house, if I needed more space, I would just drive the 3 blocks to the school.
Yeah.
Reshot 3 or 4 videos at the school. Now, as you know, as a registered sex offender, you can't go on school property.
Oh yeah, this guy made mistakes.
Exactly.
But it wasn't. Was it the school where the incident for him happened?
No.
Oh, okay. Still.
No. But no. So I couldn't understand all of so like, God gave me a message. I listened.
Right.
Like, I'm like, hey, God, figure out how to get out of this.
Yeah.
And he got me out, right? He pointed me to the path forward and allowed me to find the path forward, right? And I got out. in that same situation, this other person had many, many, many opportunities pointing in the, hey, you should, follow the right path, follow God's path, follow whatever. And he just kept on ignoring all of it. And that's a challenge. But anyway, so the end, to land the story, we're 8 years in. My marriage is great. Kids are great. Life is great. I still do stupid things, just not on camera with cars. I still have, it's still a great time, right? Like, but where I'm at today is completely different than where I was 10 years ago, 8 years ago. And God did it.
Yeah, that feels somehow like an understatement. I think, I think it's been, because, wow, about your story, I knew that, you had a YouTube channel. I knew that you had been arrested, but I knew nothing about the basically posturing you as a sex criminal. Like, I knew nothing about that part of the story.
The narrative of the story, that's, like I said, and again, the day after I get out of jail, I met with Chris. And it's like, I knew God had already said to me, follow me and I will get you out of this. Right? And it was clear as day, like as clear as the day that I decided that I knew Trisha would be my wife, right? Like those are the two clearest moments of my life, right? That I knew what I needed to do. One, no more YouTube, no more media type things, and come to church every Sunday and follow God. Though everything else was ancillary. And that's been the case ever since.
Yeah. I think you are, especially at our church, you are, such a beacon of like friendliness and welcoming, and you make it a point to talk to like everybody in the lobby, whether it's their first time or their 100th time. And we actually talk, I think it was me and Sean that said you have some kind of superpower or some kind of gene that just skipped me and Sean, that just, you're like unrefusal to help people with anything. And it is really, it's some kind of superpower. You are the first person to say yes to anything. And you are such an example, I think, even for a lot of the kids in our youth group that look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's how you need to act.
That's right. And they need to learn dad jokes.
Yeah, which you provide them every Sunday.
Every Sunday. But, and that's, I think, thank you for that.
You're welcome. I mean it. You are a very important person to this church.
Well, I don't know about that.
You are.
I don't know.
You are.
I just had, Sunday is the day I look forward to every Sunday. It is the most fun.
Yeah.
It's great. I love being the goofball. What I used to do on YouTube, I still do at church. Some of the funniest things is when I, play little practical jokes or be a little goofy or be over the top. That's kind of the fun thing.
Yeah. There's no more sex dolls in the parking lot.
No. I told Scott that story, and he's like, that was inappropriate.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
I didn't know. I wanted to demonstrate Mustangs running people over, and what other better way to do that than putting sex dolls in a church lawn?
I got to be honest with you. I could probably think of like 100 better ways.
I couldn't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm able to, some of that stuff I'm still able to do. Like, not the video stuff, but like being the goofy,
Yeah.
over the top,
Yeah.
you know.
You found a home for it.
Oh yeah, you know, Darren, he's the exact opposite of me, our head of security.
Yeah.
Um, it was funny. Did you hear the story I was telling you the first time we met here at church? Like the
No,
second
I don't
time?
think so.
Okay.
No.
This is a funny story. Darren had just been announced as head of security, which, by the way, for some stupid reason, Scott and Chris and all them thought that I would be appropriate for head of security. For a time
Oh,
period.
yeah, I remember that. I actually have somewhat of a funny story about that, but keep going.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for some reason they thought I would be appropriate for head of security. I'm not. I don't own a gun. I never will own a gun. I'm not responsible enough to own a gun or protect anybody. I'm not even able to protect myself. But Darren came in. He was head of security, and one day he was standing at the front by the door, and we were just kind of talking. And I'm like, Darren, we got a problem. I see this open security risk. And he all of a sudden perked up and he's like, all right, what is it? And I'm like, listen, the kids are over here, and the only people between you and the kids is Kathy. And Kathy is a sweet woman, but she isn't going to stop anybody, right? We need to find a way to protect the kids. And he's like, all right, what are you thinking? And I'm like, we need pepper ball guns, and we need to give them to the children. And he looked at me, and I'm like, no, seriously. If someone comes in and they're going after the children, you got 15 middle schoolers with pepper ball guns. They're going to be able to stop anybody. That's what we need to do. He had no idea that I was being serious, that I was joking.
Oh, yeah, he probably...
He thought I was being serious. Like, he's like, wait, pepper ball guns for kids? I'm like, yeah, we need to arm the children. And then somebody came over, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody told him not to take me seriously. And
It's important information.
it was, but it was great until he realized that that I shouldn't be taken seriously. That he was like, how do I react?
Right. He's like, I need to tell this guy no, but
How do I tell him?
how do I do
He's
that
in the
kindly?
leadership.
How do I?
Right, like he's in the leadership of this church. And then I was like, but anyway, yeah. So I still firmly believe that we should arm the children, because I think middle schoolers with pepper ball guns is a safety.
It's indestructible.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So I have like one little quick story, and then I think we'll call it there. But
Sure.
one of our students was in driver's ed class. Have you heard this before?
I think I have.
And in the
Use
driver's
me
ed
as an
class, in the
example.
driver's ed class. So this student of ours knows you very well, is sitting in driver's ed class, and the driver's ed instructor quite literally uses you as an example to say, this is what you don't do when operating a vehicle. And this student just had to sit there knowing full well that you were head of security at our church. I love that story. Just like,
that is it's interesting because I shouldn't be the head of security. Like,
I love you, but no. That's not your
That
thing.
was not my role. Being the head of, dad jokes is great.
Yeah. No one
that-
I'd rather have. Yeah.
Yeah. But something serious, definitely not.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for
No
being
problem.
here and doing this with me and talking to me and sharing your story and giving some hope to people who may be in the season of a rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just listen. Just say, hey, God, if you get me out of this, I'll do whatever you ask. And then actually do that. Because sometimes I suspect people say that and they maybe not actually mean it, or they forget that they made that promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, be a lesson to them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
No problem.